Now, drums. What I want to... It's there. What I want to talk about is this instrument, the drum set, unfortunately, throughout many schools, not just in Hong Kong, around the world, has been overlooked. And I'll demonstrate today and show you and explain to you the mental benefits and health benefits of playing the drums, which ancient people have known for centuries, which makes sense. What I'll first do is start off just playing something on the drum set you may not have seen people do before. Now, many people do see the drums as a very easy instrument to play. Many don't. It can be, but it's an extremely challenging instrument, particularly when it comes to four-way coordination. That's what interests me and interests many neurologists on this planet. Because a lot of kids at school are missing out because they're not getting to do this sort of stuff. I'm going to start with a pattern on my right foot, a percussion cowbell type pattern. Then I'm going to bring in a rock beat, which most drummers would use 3 or 4 limbs to play. I'm going to do that with 1 foot, and then I'm going to play the guitar on top. Just a brief performance of a song called Mozambique for Bass, just a shortened version. Thank you. Woohoo! Now, I want to just sort of explain the role of a drummer in a very simplistic form. Most drummers, when they learn to play drums, they should be taught to do this, not read music. Learn that once you can play in time. Because the most important aspect of playing this instrument is keeping time and groove, as the Americans say. And our universe is surrounded with tempo, with rhythms, because rhythm is movement of sound. So a drummer will first learn to do this. What I'm going to do, and if you could do it with me, please, we're going to sing the alphabet. And I do apologize to the singers out there because I am not a singer, but I'll give it a shot. So let's see who the confident people are. Let's sing the alphabet. We won't do the whole thing, just part of it. I'll stop. When I stop, we'll stop. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. Okay, we've got wonderful. Thank you. Now, yay. Now, if I speed up, it's not going to work. Let's see if you can follow me this time. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. It's not going to work. So the drummers are all over the place. It doesn't matter how good the other players are. It will never work. So if you have a good drummer in a band or an orchestra will sound pretty good, even if the other players can play okay. Obviously, you want everyone to be good. And let's face it, the world is full of bands which the singer can barely sing, but because of the bass player and the drummer, the band sounds great. And the singer is entertaining in their own special way. Now, but some of them are really good singers. Now, what I'm going to do now is talk about creativity and rhythm. Most people when they're taught that alphabet, they do it like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Like that's the only way you can do it. Every child should be given the right to compose their little songs they learn when they're kids, and when they get older, interpret songs the way they want to, not just the way some person wrote it. So I encourage kids with the alphabet or Thomas the Tank Engine, whatever it is, then adults do the same thing, to change the rhythm. And I'll just do it on the drums itself. I'll give you an example. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, I, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And now I know my ABCs. And next time, 1, 2. And next time, 1, 2. Next time, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sing with me. People should be, thank you. People should be able to express themselves rhythmically. Now, that's just the alphabet, okay? Now, let's look at what drums really develops a lot, which what the main reason I'm here today for, and that is, if you can see it up on the screens, it develops IQ, and it is great for accelerated learning, It's great for your confidence. Now, before I go any further with it, it's okay for me to stand up here and say, okay, it develops your IQ, accelerated learning, whatever. Let me stress, these are not my feelings or my philosophies. I'll give you a couple of examples of scientific studies which have shown very strong evidence that this is the case. Let's go back to 2001. Neurologist Dr. Barry Bittman from the Mind Body Wellness Center in Pennsylvania in America, he conducted a study in 2001 which lasted for 1 hour. And it was a group of cancer patients who were put into 4 groups. One group relaxed for an hour, one group read for an hour, one group listened to drumming for an hour, and another group played hand drums for an hour. Now, after the 1 hour session, the cancer patients who did the drumming for an hour, their body produced more cancer-killing cells. And since then, Dr. Barry Bittman has been using drum therapy in his clinic, and it's very effective. Another example would be in 2003, Professor E. Glenn Schellenberg from the University of Toronto did a study with 6-year-old children, same sort of setup, 4 groups, and in both these situations, there were about 35 people in each group. And he had one group doing piano for 36 weeks, one doing drama for 36 weeks, one doing voice for 36 weeks, and one doing nothing for 36 weeks. Now, the ones who did nothing for 36 weeks, their IQ didn't change. But the other ones that did, and the best result was piano tuition. What's that got to do with drumming? Well, in 2012, he looked at drumming, and drumming gave a better result than piano. And my belief is this, being a drummer, I've been teaching professionally for almost 30 years, teaching drums and percussion, and something I've noticed in all of my top students, they have similar traits. They're amongst the most confident people in their school, quite often the most confident. They know what they want to do with their lives. At least it's a plan, you know. Most of them go on to be successful. Not all drummers, they do other things. They keep well away from drugs and alcohol. And what I love, they have little or no interest in video games. It's sort of like, why do that? Exactly, why do that when I can be cool and play the drums? So I want to show you some exercise on the kit that I teach people, which are unique to me because drummers are encouraged to improvise and have their own musical voice rather than just following a book and copy something out of a book, and which I must say, I do have a bit of a problem with that. I write music books, and unless you've written a music book, do you really know what the person meant? Maybe you did. But there's more to music than what's just notes on paper. And again, every child should be given the freedom of musical expression because it helps you in so many other areas in your life. So anyway, I'm going to play some patterns. I need some water. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some patterns which drummers would refer to as independent. So each limb is independent. And we have 4 limbs, so technically we should be able to play about 4 rhythms. I'm going to play 6 rhythms simultaneously. Now, rather than me calling this independence, I call this, is it slipping? I call this applied musical mathematics because it's very mathematical. And remember, you want to get your kids off video games, get them into this stuff. If you want them to be smarter, do better at school, get them into drumming. Now, what I'm going to do on my right foot, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe the cameras can get this. My right foot, I've got a pedal here which has like an Indian-sounding drum. I'm going to play a rhythm which is based on a Mozambique pattern, which is this. My left foot's going to play a rhythm which is based on a Cuban rhythm called a tumbao. If I put those two together, we have what we call a Mozambique. Then I'm going to split my right foot. And the back of my right foot, yes, I'm going to split it, is going to play this rhythm. So I get right foot, left foot, woohoo! And then the left foot's going to get more action. Now I call that split foot technique. And I got that name from the idea of doing this with your hand playing the Indian tabla, which is split hand technique. So then my left foot's going to get a bit of action going, and I'm going to bridge across 2 pedals here and bring in a bit of a tambourine rhythm. So I get this. So I've got 4 rhythms going with my feet. Then I'm going to play another rhythm up here called the palitos, which is another Afro-Cuban rhythm. Then I'm going to play another rhythm here, which is called a cascara, which goes like... which is really easy to learn because all you have to say is this: the Frank Sinatra is a nasty singer. The Frank Sinatra is a nasty singer. But make it a bit more fun, a bit more mathematical. I'm going to turn that upside down just to make it a bit more challenging. And it's fun. So this is something drummers learn on a modern drum set. It can be electronic, it can be acoustic. Here we go. So we'll get the whole thing going, a bit of improvisation. And I just call this Afro-Cuban Groove for 1. Here we go. Oh yeah. Thank you. Afro-Cuban for 1. Now, many of my favorite instruments are the gorgeous instruments, the violin, the viola, the flute, the French horn. We all love those instruments in movies or every day of my life I listen to classical music. But with all those instruments, what do you do with your feet? Thank you. And that's what I'm talking about here. Hello. So, and schools have overlooked this. It's like, it's just noise. You just bang the drum. Really. Okay. I suppose you just push the button on the piano. And I sort of think there's a lot of intelligent people in this world saying very stupid things. And we get this in all areas of life. Now, again, I love the violin. I love all those instruments. I play the guitar, and I do encourage any drummers out there, please learn a melodic instrument. Understand music, not just rhythmically, understand it harmonically, melodically, dynamically in relation to a violin. I use these instruments, this particular kit, a lot when I perform because violinists can't deal with me playing too loud. And I want to hear the violin. I like the violin. But sometimes you really got to go for it and play loud. But that's another thing. And in saying that, if a drummer is playing like this, in a lot of the progressive rock styles that parents don't want their kids to listen to, that burns up to 600 calories an hour. Why go to the gym when you can play drums? I mean, come on. Do both. Do both. You're going to benefit from both. Let's do another applied musical mathematical thing on the kit. This one is based on a rhythm called the African 6. These patterns I'm playing, which repeat themselves, are referred to as ostinatos, which is a stubborn rhythm which just keeps doing its thing. Now, here we go. I'm going to play 6 pedals. I'll get on the right drum set. And I'm going to play a few different time signatures at the same time. I'll just talk. Can you hear me when I'm talking, when I'm playing the drums? Woohoo, this is great. I couldn't do that in an acoustic kit. Now, here we go. Now, okay, 6 pedals, bang, woo! Now, I think of this as like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Depends if I'm thinking American or thinking African. Here we go. My right hand's playing in 4/4, my left hand's playing in 3/4, and my feet are playing in 3/16. And remember, apparently drums is easy. Oh yeah. The African 6, thank you. Now, water, we're talking about idiot. Water? Hello. Accelerated learning and, who's the comedian? And, IQ development. Now, It's this four-way coordination stuff which is helping the brain, because it's very difficult to find another activity that engages as many of the brain systems as drum set does. And schools around the world don't seem to get this. Because again, there's a lot, and this does not apply to everyone, but let's face it, I said it before, there's many intelligent people in this world saying stupid things. And people I sort of see in Hong Kong, all these kids doing music exams. Music exams are fantastic, I have no problem with that. But the problem I have is they're learning this incredible music by Liszt or Bach or Messiaen, whoever it is. I love all that music. But the school systems seem to forget these people who wrote this classical music, it could be Count Basie and jazz, whatever, they were the greatest or are the greatest improvisers in history. Yet in most of these music courses, it's no improvisation. It's a memory test. It's like, there'll be people in this room who learn to do grade 8 piano, which is, congratulations, that's great. But they can really only play a few pieces. You put them in a room with the people who are improvising, they're lost. And that's such an easy thing to fix. Let kids express themselves. So put improvisation and composition into music training. With drums, you have to. Otherwise, you end up sounding like this. It doesn't work. It's just annoying. And let's face it, most drummers... And that's what people are hearing, because they haven't been given, good direction. And once, that drummers understand, it fixes itself. Now, but yeah, it's this four-way coordination that really helps your mental development. Children and adults. Now, health. I mentioned before with Dr. Barry Bittman, the neurologist in Pennsylvania. The drumming also reduces stress. It brings down blood pressure. Pythagoras spoke about melodies and rhythms helping the body. This has been around for thousands of years. When science is just beginning to learn what the ancients have known for forever. And I know with drums myself, I know when I went through high school playing drums, and let me just explain one thing. I used to practice 6 to 12 hours every day because I was allowed to, which was fantastic. And what I noticed by the time I got to end of high school, I lost most of my friends. It's like, not because I was practicing the whole time, because I was seeing the world very differently to them. Because I want to point one thing out here, I've got up here on the screen here. The 10,000 hour practice rule. You cannot avoid it. Many people are aware of this, many people are not aware of this. The difference between, say, someone who's average at a particular skill, they're quite good, and a genius level is generally about 9,000 hours practice. So you have to get to 10,000 hours practice. If you practice, say, piano or drums or even chemistry 1 hour every day, in a year that's only 365 hours, you're nowhere near it. It'll take you 30 years. Half an hour a day, 60 years. Do the math. Or maths, as Australians say. Now, I've changed. What happened? But you need to do 3 hours every day for 10 years. You do that, and that's what I did. I didn't know I was doing that, because I worked out recently, by that time, the end of high school, I'd been playing for 4 years, I had reached 10,000 hours practice. And recently I realized that, because I was practicing so much. And that brings this thought to mind. So many kids in Hong Kong and other parts of the world do all these activities. What's the objective? To get them out of the house, experience things. I mean, I can see there's positive objectives, but are these kids given the opportunity to build up their 10,000 hours training in what it is they want to do? It doesn't have to be drums. It can be mathematics. I don't care. Whatever they're into, everything's creative. People just make things not creative. I mean, many drum teachers make drumming very boring. We all know that. I'm sure becoming an astronaut can be boring if they make it boring for you. Anything can be boring. Anything can be fun. So 10,000 hours training. So I practiced a lot. So when I first started playing in 1980, this is all I could play. This is all I could play. That was it. I still remember it. But because I practiced, and also I'm self-taught, I had no one with me. So that enabled me not to be restricted by rules. I work things out. And because I'm naturally, I can teach, I can pass those thoughts on to students. But this is an amazing instrument. I want to do another thing, back to the alphabet. I sort of play with the rhythm before. We're now going to try and sing over the alphabet. I'm going to do it with a bit more applied musical mathematics. We're going to sing it over a pattern which is based on a grouping of 10. And the actual grouping of 10 is made up of two groups of 5. It's going to be 4 notes on, it will be 5. There's 4 notes on this drum, the snare drum. and 6 notes on the cymbals. And to make it more cool, I'm going to cross my hands over. So go like... which is a grouping of 5. And for me to hear 5, before I said that Frank Sinatra is a nasty singer, I'm going to use a word with 5 syllables that we all know, and most people are not aware that it's a grouping of 5, and that it's musically it's called a quintuplet, and that is hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus. So I'm saying to myself, hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. While I'm doing that, I'm doing hippopotamuses with my feet, but my hands are going right, left, right, left, right, left. Just to put a bit more coordination and fun in there, my feet are going right, right, left, left, right, right, which is based on a grouping of 4. So I've got 5 over 4. Anyway, so, this is really fun. And it's really good for your mind. So I'll get it going, and then I'll give you a count and see if you can do the alphabet with me. Another way of doing it's the same rhythm, but just a different beat behind it. Endless, and this is just the alphabet. I mean, there's so much more music in the world. Here we go. Woohoo! 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABC. Next I won't be with me. And that's the alphabet. I mean, give me a break. There's more music in the world than the alphabet. All children and adults should be given that right to express themselves musically, and rhythm's a great way of doing that. Now, what I'm going to do, yeah, exactly, what I'm going to do, I'm now going to bring up some of my students who are working towards their 10,000 hour practice routine. And remember, accelerated learning is being proven by science more and more now. IQ development better than most, if not all, instruments. And very difficult to find another activity which engages so many of the brain systems. And it's fun. 600 calories an hour, guys. Think about it. So I'm going to play a song with these wonderful musicians, of which I can say Daniel here, he just got accepted into the university of his choice in Canada, and he got a scholarship because he plays the drums. Yeah! Not because he got... And he has no musical grades. I think universities are beginning to look a little bit different. You got a musical grade? What have you written? Come in, please. Anyone can remember a bunch of things. Okay, now, I wrote this for my little daughter. She's 2.5 years old. I call it Creative Caitlin, because I'm inspired by my daughter and every young kid in the world, because they're just born with all of this creativity and ideas and stuff. So I wrote a piece on the drum kit, which does not sound like a drum kit at all, and playing the drum kit in a very different way, which drums teaches you to do this. So this is called Creative Caitlin. Fellas, let's see what happens. Here we go. I've got the right drum kit, I think so. All the sounds you're hearing are me, all the melodic sounds. Here we go. 2, 3, and 4, and... Thank you. I'm Chris Brien. Thank you.